Namaskaram. Welcome to this video where we shall be getting ourselves acquainted with the Indian philosophical systems, the Darshana Shastra that existed in ancient India. Indian philosophical systems have a rich tapestry of beliefs and ideas, including both theistic and atheistic traditions. Theistic Indian philosophical system is a belief system that posits the existence of one or more gods and deities who created and govern the universe. While atheism is an Indian philosophical system that believes in the lack or non-existence of God. Dear students, this is the only country where you could find, of all the countries in the world, it's only in Bharat that you could find the theism, that is belief in God, and atheism, that is belief in the non-existence of God, simultaneously coexist. From this video onwards, in a couple of videos later, we shall talk about the various philosophical systems that existed in ancient India. Indian philosophical systems fall into two groups. The theistic systems incorporating Sankhya and Yoga, Vaisheshika and Nyaya, Purvamimamsa and Uttaramimamsa. The atheistic systems incorporate the Charvaka, Buddhism and Jainism. Indian philosophical systems have both theistic and atheistic one, and theism would mean that it is the belief in the existence of God. Theos comes from the Greek word which means God. So, in theistic worldview, the divine is seen as conscious, intelligent being or force that is distinct from the natural world. The atheistic philosophical systems start from atheism, which believes that God does not exist. Sometimes it is also called as agnostic, as Thomas Henry Huxley has used in 1869, which would mean it rejects all claims of spiritual and mystical knowledge. The theistic philosophical systems, which the Hindu philosophy or the Vedic philosophy is set upon, developed in tandem with the religion of Hinduism during the Iron and Classical ages of India. In India, philosophy is called as Darshana. Darshana is to see or to experience. Don't you think that we see with our eyes? Yes, we do see with our eyes, but the outside world. Darshana exactly is to see inside world of a human being also. It is clearly to see the inside and the outside and having a sort of correlation between both. So Darshana is to see clearly, to experience the truth clearly. And in Indian context, the Darshana Shastras are 6 in number and hence they are called as Shad Darshanas. Sankhya is the earliest school of dualism. Yoga combines metaphysics of Sankhya with meditation and breath techniques. Nyaya is a school of logic emphasizing direct realism. Vaisheshika is an offshoot of Nyaya that is concerned with atomism and naturalism. Mimamsa is a school justifying rituals, faith, and religious obligations as are given in Vedas, whereas Vedanta, which is also called as the Uttaramimamsa, contains various traditions that mostly embrace non-dualism or Advaita. Talking about the atheistic Indian philosophical systems, the very first is the Charvaka, which is a materialism school that accepted the existence of free will, and Ajivaka, which is a materialism school that denied the existence of free will. Apart from Charvaka and Ajivaka, we also have Jainism and we also have Buddhism as the atheistic Indian philosophical systems. Let us in this video talk about the very first of the Shaddarshanas, Kapila Muni's Sankhya philosophy. He is none other than the great Kapila Muni, who is also referred as Chakradhanus in sage, is a sage in Indian Hindu tradition. He is the son of Kardama and Devahuti, and he is the founder of Sankhya school of philosophy. He might have existed between 6th and 7th centuries BCE and has also influenced Buddha and Buddhism. Talking about the nature of Sankhya philosophy, it believes in dualism. Dualism is the existence of Purusha, the pure consciousness, and Prakriti, the primordial matter. And it has got 25 tattvas or principles, and that's why the name Sankhya reflects to the counting or enumeration of these 25 tattvas that we'll be talking. All these tattvas are bound by the primordial nature, Prakriti, which exists in three gunas. The Sattva guna, which is for balance and purity, the Rajas guna, which is for activity and passion, and the Tamasic guna, which is for inertia and ignorance. It is the interplay of these three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, that give rise to all forms of matter and life on this earth. Deep inside these, we have the consciousness or Purusha, which is the passive eternal witness, which is quite distinct from Prakriti. Then we have the metaphysical foundations of Sankhya philosophy. Entire life on this earth is the relationship between the self or the Purusha and the material world or Prakriti. It explains how ignorance of this distinction leads to bondage and suffering. And it has influenced all the other darshanas also very profoundly. Talking about Purusha, this is the pure consciousness. It is the passive observer that is detached from all worldly experiences. Purusha is neither created nor destroyed. In terms of Einsteinian words, energy can be neither created nor destroyed in this world, but you have transformations of energy, isn't it? Similarly, Purusha also can be neither created nor destroyed, which is nothing but the energy or the consciousness. It is beyond time, space, and causality. Unlike Prakriti, it is not affected by the qualities or changes in the material world. Then we have Prakriti. Prakriti is the primal matter, the source of all the physical and mental phenomena in the universe. It is the dynamic creative force that evolves into material world. The characteristics of Prakriti, as we said, exist in Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. The interplay of these gunas lead to the diversity of forms in the entire cosmos. Dualism or interaction is the connection between Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is the consciousness observer and Prakriti is the unconscious material cause of the universe. Their interaction leads to the manifestation of the world. However, the interaction is only apparent as Purusha remains unchanged and unaffected. Then we have the evolution and manifestation. The theory of evolution talks about the 25 basic things, which is Mahat or Buddhi, Ahankara or the ego, Manas or the mind, Indriyas or the 5 sense organs with which we perceive the world, Tanmatras, which are the subtler elements or the 5 gross elements there, Mahabhutas, which are the Pancha Mahabhutas of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. All these combine to form life, naturally leading to bondage. Bondage is nothing but samsara. The bondage arises when Purusha mistakenly identifies itself with Prakriti. This leads to suffering, desires, and the cycle of birth and rebirth. From this, how can we achieve moksha is the next question. Liberation or moksha is achieved through knowledge or jnana of the true nature of Purusha and Prakriti. When Purusha realizes its distinct and separate identity, it detaches from Prakriti and ending the cycle of samsara. Then comes what should be the purpose of life for human being. The purpose of life for human being is to get rid of samsara and get ourselves liberated. This realization frees the soul from the illusions and sufferings caused by the association with matter. Thus, we have so much of literature written in Sankhya philosophy. The very first is called as the Sankhya Karika. Maybe Krishna himself is responsible for writing this, where he talks about Purusha and Prakriti. Ishvara Krishna is the writer who talks maybe in the 4th and 5th century CE about the nature of bondage, the process of evolution, and the means of liberation in terms of Purusha and Prakriti. Sankhya Sutras are given by Kapila Muni, which are the best. Maybe original work is mostly lost and only fragments are remaining right now. Then we have Sankhya Pravachana Sutra, also giving a sort of commentary on Kapila Muni's Sankhya. Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita are also the testimony of the existence of Sankhya of Kapila Muni. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali also talk about Prakriti and Purusha and the enumeration of principles from Sankhya, but adds on a practical path of discipline for achieving liberation. The close relationship between Sankhya and Yoga makes the Yoga Sutras an essential text for understanding Sankhya's influence on the Indian thought. There are a number of commentaries that are available which become the secondary text for Kapila Muni's Sankhya and Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. They are called as Sankhya Karikas. We have the Vijnana Bhikshu and Gauda Badacharya writing the Sankhya Karikas, explaining the Sankhya philosophy to the common man. The significance of Sankhya literature is it becomes the bedrock of dualistic metaphysics in the Indian subcontinent. It had a profound impact on philosophical traditions including Yoga, Vedanta, Buddhism, and Jainism as well. The systematic and analytical approach of Sankhya, as seen in these texts, continues to be the subject of study and debate among scholars in Indian philosophy. Thank you very much for being a part of this video. See you in the next video. Namaskaram.